Ryan Stevens here with Synergy Performance and Rehabilitation, working with BJ Ward of Ward Fitness Systems. Today we're going to talk about a potential way to do a push-up. Remember, a push-up is a pretty advanced exercise, so assuming you've had a proper assessment, we're going to give you a couple options to do on a push-up. So again, there probably is no best way, and there's numerous ways to do them, but we're going to talk about some potential ways to make sure we're keeping tension through the chest, make sure that we're keeping the things that are supposed to be moving, and keeping the things that aren't supposed to be moving, not moving.
Perfect.
So we're utilizing handles to keep the wrists more neutral. And then I would say about shoulder width apart, although that's something you can manipulate as well. But for the purposes of this, we're going to keep them about shoulder width apart. And as we talked about before, once we get him up in this position, the spine's in a relatively neutral position. Okay, knees aren't bending too much. Again, those are all options you can take or have in another variation of the exercise. Spine neutral. The big part of this, okay, the joints that are supposed to be moving, elbow, shoulder, shoulder blades. No wrist, spine, all right, what we talked about before. So I'm going to have BJ start to go down towards the ground. Notice how he's keeping his spine neutral. Shoulder blades are starting to retract. Okay? And I want to keep him that way as long as you can. So I'm going to have him start to generate some tension in the pec. That's the most important part, is the tension in the pec, and you can see they start to protract at the top. But I do not want you to lose tension. If you're going to go all the way up and start to protract, make sure you don't lose tension. That's also a potential for some shoulder instability. If you get pinching or whatever, you may want to avoid that. Okay? I'm going to have him go back down. This time I'm not going to let him go all the way up. Okay? Shoulder blades are retracted. Everything's staying neutral still. I want you to keep your shoulder blades back. He will not be able to go all the way up. Good. Okay? And maintaining that tension. Also with the hands. Okay? Imagine that they're pushing straight down through the ground. Okay? If you can. Okay, or even in a little bit, right? So do one more for me. Keep those shoulder blades retracted. Good. Tension in the pec, that's the goal of this exercise. Keep that tension, hold, and then if you were to keep going up, the shoulders would protract, but you need to maintain that tension. Typically by maybe pushing in a little bit with your hands will help keep that tension. So again, that's your push-up.